before we move on, I'll hear a lot of you have been linking this to me. Anna says, I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. So funny for someone to witness the trans moral panic that calls for our eradication in public, says Juniper, the banning of trans medical care in multiple states, yet decide to make everything about how the 14 lived up academics who use these silly phrases bother you so much. I, of course, agree with Juniper on this because, like, I don't know what, like, Anna isn't wrong, right? Anna is not wrong. She is right. Like, this stuff is, like, stupid, right? And no one uses it. It's like the Latinx thing over and over and over again. You know what I mean? She's right. But, like, no attention should be paid to that. You know what I mean? That's the problem here. Like, no attention should be paid to this. And I know that a lot of people will turn around and say, Hasan, you're wrong as well. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. You guys that, for those of you who do want to fucking have this debate over and over again, you're behaving in a way that is as unproductive as Anna Kasparian, but maybe from an ostensibly leftist side. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. As a person in medical school right now, you would be surprised by how much I hear this usage here, and it's probably more applicable, and I still think it's a distraction from giving the same folks good quality health care. Yeah. Like, it's just so irrelevant. Like, people are not, like, people that get super mad at this and use this as an additional justification are transphobic. You know what I mean? The transphobic people will use things like, oh, people want to call all women person with a uterus or whatever the fuck. People want to call cis women person with a uterus. Like, they're the ones who are looking for further justification to moralize their transphobia. So, like, making any note of that and lending any credence to that argument as though it's, like, super serious is silly, in my opinion. And I think it's just for farming Twitter likes. You know? That's it. Like, colloquially speaking, when we're outside of academia, when we're outside of, like, you know, hyper-specific medicine, right? No one is using this shit. No one. Like, I've never, the other thing is, like, I've never actually fucking seen, like, someone in the real world ever be like, oh, please, you know, call me Latinx or some shit like that. You know what I mean? That's not, like, not a thing. Like, most people in the real world are not so permanently fucking brain broken, right? AOC used it. Yeah, no shit, she used it. Because she's a politician. I've had this conversation so many times over. It's just silly. Okay? It's silly. Anyway, it's the BIPOC distinction. Like, you know, POC is not enough. There needs to be a separate removal to show, like, additional harm that was done to indigenous communities and black communities. It's just like I get the energy. I understand where it's coming from. Colloquially speaking, it is completely irrelevant. People are not using it, and I'm never going to push for people to fucking make this distinction because everyone gets completely fucking bottlenecked at the aesthetics of the subject matter. Just advocate for the things you believe in instead of hyper focusing on idiotic aesthetics. It's just a byproduct of liberalism. It's probably the most annoying part of liberalism, honestly. So that's it. That's all I got. And I do think that Juniper is correct in this regard, which is that, you know, there's so much anti-trans legislation. There's so much anti-trans moral panic. There's so much anger towards the trans community for simply existing right now. And there's material harm being done to the trans community. The notion that, like, the main takeaway from this has to be the you know, fucking silly phrases is you know, it's just, like, very self-involved. Even if it is correct. Like, even if Anna's perspective on the matter is, you know, correct, It's one that like doesn't need to be a boundary that you're setting on the fucking ground because it's completely irrelevant. One way or the other. Does that make sense? Now, having said that, is Anna an ally to the trans cause? As far as I know, or I mean, from what I remember at least, yeah. She is. Will she get extra upset because she did this and got a lot of likes? Okay. And then people will then, attack her like crazy. Okay. And then this will further solidify her position. I also think yes. But ultimately, it's not a Anna here is trying to give a more centrist aesthetic by criticizing dumb leftists. Yeah, exactly. I do it regularly as well. I mean, I did it during the Hogwarts shit, and everybody got mad at me. Everybody yelled at me. And what happened? Nothing changed. And fairly certain that a lot of people who were saying that I was like a transphobic piece of shit are still in here watching and completely aware that I'm not a transphobic piece of shit. Just doesn't matter. Just got to keep your precious little edgy line. So you can separate. It's just brand building. So depressing people you respect turn into bait devouring hogs at the drop of a hat. But yeah, but like they didn't ask Anna if she was a woman at the doctor though. That's like way worse. I don't think you're wrong. I think she is brand building a little bit here. But I just don't want to lend any credence to right-wing shitheads. That's my take on it. This is not important. It's completely unimportant. I do think it's helpful as a birth worker to use gender-neutral language because medical settings are often unsafe and unsupportive of trans existence. It's not about pandering or virtue signaling, but letting potential clients know I'm a safe provider. Oh, shit. Sure. I mean, that's why I said it's like relegated to very hyper-specific medicine. But also, like, guys. Like, this is an even more hyper-specific marginal issue overall, right? It's a hyper-specific marginal issue, so much so that Juniper is even making fun of it, right? Especially because, like, every now and then there is another, like, Daily Mail article where it'll be like, trans man and trans woman give birth together to a baby. And then they'll, like, talk about it, and then it'll be, like, rage bait. And I'm like, dude, there's, like, 8 people that have done this. Why is there media coverage on this? Like, the fuck do you mean? Like, sure, fine. Like, who cares? Why? Like, this is nothing. Like, this is nothing. It's not a thing. It's not destroying Western civilization through, moral degeneracy. It's not morally degenerate at all, obviously. But it's also not like, the pivotal achievement, the crowning achievement of like, trans existence and like fucking defending trans rights either. It's just rage bait. Crafted and concocted by reactionary TERFs or just, people, reactionary transphobes, they're not even fucking TERFs. And then oftentimes promoted by well-intentioned leftists who are like, no, this is actually the fucking hill. This is the only hill. Everybody engages in the same unproductive cycles of manufactured outrage from their own perspective over and over again, and we accumulate likes in the process, and everyone is fucking yelling at one another. Meanwhile, the reactionaries are winning the fight against one of the more marginalized communities in this country by way of state legislatures. It's just noise. I hate it. And for the record, like, do I think Anna is a transphobic? No. Do I think Anna is going to Do I think that Anna Kasparian is going to stop defending trans rights? I don't think so. Right? But I also don't believe that she needs to post this as though this is like a fucking, big deal. That's it. I hope I'm not wrong. Anna will be labeled as a transphobe at this point, unfortunately. I mean, first of all, also who cares? Like, oh no, she will be labeled as a transphobe? Oh no. Like, who cares? I have been labeled as a transphobe many times over. Trans people have no power. Okay? You don't go to transphobe jail when you are labeled as a transphobic person by 14-year-olds on the internet whose understanding of gender comes from watered down Tumblr aesthetics. Okay? There is nothing. There is no byproduct of being labeled a transphobe. Okay? So just suck it up. This is a community of people who are being vilified and victimized regularly, so they are hyper sensitive to any kind of marginal or sometimes meaningful or in certain instances meaningful transphobia. They're doing it because they're overprotective, understandably. They're doing this because they're constantly under attack. Their gender identity is constantly under attack. Their existence is constantly under attack. Okay? So that's why they do it. But ultimately, okay, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter if they get mad. Just, you're not an ally because you want, trans people on Twitter to like you. Okay? You're an ally because you think it's just. Have a fucking moral compass. Okay? As someone who gets yelled at by every single marginalized identity group that I fucking advocate for every goddamn day, I don't give a shit if you call me fucking racist or transphobic. Nothing happens, okay? Nothing. Even if it's misdirected anger, nothing happens. Nothing changes. That's it. You say that, but you were too scared to play the wizard game. First of all, no, I wasn't. I did play the wizard game. It's not even good. I fucking downloaded it on the Steam Deck and I played it. I tweeted about it. And it sucked. That's the worst part about this controversy. It was so mid. Maybe because I've lost interest in living in Hogwarts as I once did. Okay, Lemma, you said you were too afraid before. Don't lie. Oh, yeah, just like I said, I hate Mr. Beast and I think he should go to jail, right? No, I didn't say that. You just watched a Ben Shapiro video saying that, and instead of understanding what I was talking about, you literally chose to just look at the misinterpretation from the right. I watched you say it. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I never said I was too afraid. I said it's not worth the fucking headache, and there is a significantly better way to advocate for trans causes, because a silly ass fucking decentralized boycott movement with no discernible tangible goal is not going to fucking work when this is one of the most popular IPs of all time. I ended up playing it regardless, and I said I will inevitably play it even back then. Shut the fuck up. You are too stupid to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, and it seems like you haven't. You're not even remotely interested in understanding things that I'm explaining to you right now. Do I have to 90% of my arguments revolving debate lords like this? Debate perverts like this is basically well, my delusions told me this, so I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care what you say. You are the guy. Your words are what we are discussing currently. My interpretation of your words is what matters in this circumstance more than the words itself. More than what you truly are saying right now. More than what you are saying currently. The guy. I'm the guy. How can you be so parasocial about me to me? Backlash that will come of this is just not worth it because goddamn, trans posters can be very, very, very unhinged. And God forbid, you don't want them coming because they're not going to go after fucking Nazis and shit. They're going to go after me if I play it. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, fuck you. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. This is before I even played it. And openly stated, it's just not worth the fucking headache. Don't know if you know this, but the lead creative was a pro Gamergate YouTuber. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I just, yeah, there's, guys, you are never going to get me. You're never going to convince me that like a piece of art should not be consumed because the creator was problematic. Like, I don't live like that. Damn, that's crazy. So wait, even back then I was saying that like consumer-led boycotts were actually fucking stupid 6 months ago before the game came out. Huh. That's weird. I don't know. I don't know why. It's so weird because like, dude. I know people always fucking go and say like, oh my God, Hasan, like, oh my God, Hasan, I remember it differently. It's like, dog, the fact that we're still talking about this is so stupid. The Queen's eyes weren't even fucking crossed out back then, okay? That's how long ago this is. You think I'm going to behave that way? This is before the Queen died, dog. That's never gonna. This is before the Queen died. Anyway. Anyway. Silly as fuck. So silly. So dumb.